Hi, I'm Brian Russell, and I want to give you some tips, tactics, and ideas to maximize your learning. Because what we want to move from is thinking of education as a commodity that just gives you information, because you can get information anywhere. In fact, Google knows everything. So if you just need information, you can just look it up. What I'm interested is teaching you how to learn in ways that are transformative. And so I have a couple of tips that will aid you in maximizing your time with me, or your time in any class, or in your time with any book that you might be reading, or a podcast, or another video. Because what we want to do, again, is we want to learn for growth, for the long-term growth. And let me give you three things to think about. The first thing is, whether you're listening or reading or studying, you want to resist the temptation to simply listen or learn for agreement. What I mean by that is we have a tendency to take whatever our current position is on any issue, and when we encounter something new, we listen and read and study only for the ways that it supports us in our current position. Now, if you just listen to what I said, if you learn only things that agree with what you already know, you're essentially stuck. And so we have to resist the temptation to listen, to learn only for agreement. In fact, the way to think about it is we want to listen and read and study for insight, which is usually going to mean it's going to be something that we don't currently understand, or an idea that doesn't fit into the box that we've constructed about reality already. Because all of us have maps. Again, we bring a map, but when we encounter something that doesn't fit into our map, it's easy to reject it. So as a person committed to lifetime learning and maximizing your time, listen carefully, and especially to things that you may initially have a sense of that you're in tension with, because that's where your growth's going to come. So again, listen for insight, not just for agreement. By the way, apply that in your personal relationships and watch your relationships grow as well. The second thing, and it really follows from the first, when you're listening for insight rather than just for agreement, you can then open yourself up to surprises. Especially when you're learning new things, and especially if you actually have really deep held beliefs. It's uncomfortable to run into ideas, authors that conflict yours or even question some of your cherished beliefs. And sometimes you'll close yourself down to learning. So be open to surprises. An author that you may, in fact, have absolutely nothing in common with, and in fact, an author whose ideas you may ultimately, for the most part, just set aside, be open to being surprised that you might get a dynamic new way of thinking about an issue from reading someone whose work you otherwise disagree with. So never be afraid to read a book that is more conservative than you are, or more liberal than you are, or comes from a completely different cultural position. Be open to surprises, and you'll discover all kinds of new teachers that, again, can help you to grow. And then the last principle, and this may be the most critical one, because you can listen for insight, you can be open to surprises, but if you don't apply the new ideas immediately, it's just going to disappear. It might be in your notes somewhere, but if you want learning to go deep on the inside, we need to find tangible ways to apply the new insights and ideas immediately. So when you're studying, when you're reading, I do this in book margins. When I buy a book, I write things in the margins that show how this idea might connect with another book I've read, might connect with some aspect of my life. I may actually even disagree with the author, but do something immediately to make an application. How can you take this idea and put it in your current life, maybe your job, your family, your work? your scholarship. Again, it doesn't mean you have to come up with an action right away, but do something with the new learning. Put it into your context so that it actually engages some aspect of your life. And I can guarantee you, you'll learn at a higher rate, at a more profound way, in a way that transforms you when you do that, because suddenly your learning takes on significance. It's not just head knowledge, but it gets into your heart and it comes out in the way that you use your hands, your feet, and your mouthpiece. So again, you want to be a dynamic learner, start here. Listen and learn and read for insight, not agreement. Be open to surprising lessons and find a way to immediately apply and add those new things that you've learned into your current frameworks and practices. I'm Brian Russell, and it's my privilege to share some of these ideas with you. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment and I will get back to you.